Hi guys, Scott Woodward with you for Friday Night Football, and we have a top of the table clash this week. Fantastic game between the Manly Seagulls and the Melbourne Storm, teams 1 and 2 in the competition, and that's the way that I think they'll finish at the conclusion of 26 rounds. But first of all, let me give you a case why the Melbourne Storm can win this game. Firstly, they've won 6 of their last 10 games versus the Manly Seagulls, and they've also won their last 12 games straight, and impressively they've won 9 straight away from home. I can't think of another team that's ever done that. That is an amazing statistic and an absolute credit to the coach, the head coach and the coaching staff, the way that they've able to consistently been able to get their players up for away games when 3 of their key players have been through a state of origin. Quite an amazing effort. The other thing is, these two teams played in round 1, and the Seagulls went down to the Storm 18-6. That was played at Amy. Of course, this game is played at Brookvale. The other big stat that's a big thing in the favour of the Melbourne Storm here is they have an extra 48 hours to prepare for this game, which is a big factor when it's going to be such an intense game. An extra 2 days to prepare is a big factor. The Storm certainly will lose half that 2 days on a plane trip up here and have to wait at airports, etc. But it is a big advantage. Let me give you the case for the Manly Seagulls. They've won 6 of their last 9 games played at Brookvale Oval, and they're undefeated at Brookvale Oval this year. Once again, a fabulous stat. Having said that, they've been lucky in a couple of those games, I think. Look, the other thing that I think they've got going for them is simply they have to win this game. I think this is a very important game for Manly to win, and it's not so important for the Melbourne Storm. I think the Melbourne Storm will be minor premiers regardless of whether they win tonight or not. And if it was me, I'd be resting Billy Slater and or Cameron Smith in this game and just have them back for next game, give them the week off with the intense football that they have to come. It's not a game that I'd be putting a lot of emphasis on if I was the Melbourne Storm, but he's such a competitive coach, he'll want to win every game and he'll want to go 100% at every game. There's a concern over Sikamanu. He has a groin. I'm assuming he'll play. I certainly wouldn't be risking him. He's too important to them in their forward pack, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't play. For the Melbourne Storm, I'm not quite sure why Sisa Wonga is on the bench playing or naming a winger on the bench. I just don't understand the logic in that, why they've done that. But clearly the strength for the Melbourne Storm is going to be in their guns. Billy Slater, Cameron Smith, world-class forwards, Adam Blair, and we think at this stage Sikamanu. I'm going to include Gareth Widdop into those guns. I think he is a potential champion, and I think he may very well end up being the best back to come out of England in the last 10 years or so. He looks to me to be a rising superstar. I've thought that now for over 18 months, and he just continues to get better and better. And I think he goes a lot better with with Cronk not in the side. The extra responsibility that he has on his shoulders, where he goes from 6 to 7, it doesn't seem to faze him. At this stage of his career, he doesn't have the organisational skills of Cooper Cronk, but he's certainly got a better sidestep and he's certainly faster, and his kicking game is okay. He doesn't control the kicking game like Cronk does, and we saw Billy Slater take some kicks last week, and that's going to be a little bit of a concern away from home for the Melbourne Storm this week. But look, they've still got an ordinary bench as far as I'm concerned. I think the Sea Eagles have an advantage there. Todd Lowry and Joe Lowe are journeymen on the bench, and they're not guys that you get excited about when you look at the bench. And I look at the Manly Seagulls bench. And I see guys like Tony Williams on the bench, and even the very promising Jamie Buhrer, and I think they're very exciting players. I think Tim Robertson is an exciting player, and I think he has a wonderful future for the Manly Seagulls. The guns for the Seagulls are clearly the Stewart brothers. Brett Stewart, he's such an intelligent player. He calls the shots, and he tells the the 6 and the 7, whether to go right or whether to go left, and he always chimes in when there's a break. He's just a brilliant fullback, in the same mould as Billy Slater. Billy Slater is clearly number 1, but Brett Stewart is certainly not that far behind him. There's no doubt about that. Jamie Lyon is as good as any centre in the world, and he is in career best form, and he controls that right side there. Very good talker, very good defender. And the big surprise to me, I noticed some of the press are saying even Stello, he hailed Kieran Foran as the game's best young player. Well, I think there's a better young player, and it's in the same team. I think Daly Cherry Evans is a better, younger player than Kieran Foran. I haven't seen Kieran Foran do much in the last month, in the last 4 weeks, and Cherry Evans just seems to be getting better and better. I think he's a better organiser. I think he's a better kicker. I think he's a better talker. And I think he's a better defender, and he's not as big and strong. Kieran Foran has missed some awful tackles over there on the left side, and that is the concern for Manly as far as I'm concerned. That left side defence, Steve Matai, Kieran Foran, Anthony Watmough, and when Shane Rodney comes on, he also goes on that left, and they can miss tackles, and that is a big worry. The other concern is Anthony Watmough and Steve Matai can give away dumb penalties at a crucial time when they have the opposition pinned down in their red zone, and they give a dumb penalty and let them out cheaply. They do that a lot, and it just doesn't seem to be being fixed up by the coach. It must be driving him crazy. I think one of the unsung heroes for Manly this year is Joe Galuvao. He's been selected to start, but that often happens and he doesn't start. I hope he does start, because I think Manly need his strength and his go forward. Look, I think the two profs are going okay, but I think Galuvao helps them a lot, and I'd like to see him start. I think they're better when he does start. So, look, I think it's a fantastic game. Clearly, Manly Seagulls have to win this game if I think they're going to go on and beat Melbourne Storm in a potential grand final. I think they will want to be winning this game. If they can't beat them here when Melbourne haven't got Cooper Cronk and they're playing at Brookvale Oval, and it's a game that Melbourne don't really have to win, I think there'll be some big red flags asked over the Manly Seagulls. This is a game put down for them to win. I always had it slotted down for them to win, and they really have to win it. From Melbourne's point of view, they come here with no pressure at all, and they can just enjoy themselves. If they win, if Slater happens to get through and set up some tries and score some tries, and they happen to go on and win, well, that's fine. They'll cop it and they'll become minor premiers a week early. But if it doesn't happen, it's, I think providing the Melbourne Storm are consistent and they're competitive in this game, I think the coach will be happy. They're going to be minor premiers regardless, as far as I'm concerned. And the fact of the matter is they're going to get 2 home games in the semi-finals, and they're going to get a week off. And simply because of that fact, they are entitled to be short price favourites to win this competition, as opposed to Manly. When Manly have the week off, providing they can finish second and they can win the very first week, the 2 games that they will get will be at ANZ or at the Sydney Football Stadium, and they may be playing a Sydney team like a St George or somebody like that, and there's no real advantage. As a matter of fact, it's a disadvantage, because teams like St George and West Tigers will have a much bigger crowd, so there'll be no advantage there for Manly, where Melbourne will be playing down at either Amy or Etihad, and it'll be a pro Melbourne crowd, and the other team will have to travel, and they have a monumental advantage. So simply because of that fact, they are the likely team to be first into the grand final. But as far as this game is concerned, it's a fantastic clash. Really looking forward to see some of the combinations, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the big names for Manly step up, who I haven't seen do a lot in the last month. I'm talking about Anthony Watmough. He hasn't done a great deal in the last month. I'm not sure if he's carrying an injury, and I'm looking for Kieran Foran to stand up. Those two guys have been, I'll say, okay in the last month without being outstanding, and they're at the time of the year now where they need to start to be outstanding. But for me, I think the Seagulls are entitled to win this game by about a try, but I expect it to be a wonderful tight game, and certainly can't wait till it starts. Unfortunately, the other Friday night game is a nothing game. It's a dead rubber between the Earls and the Roosters. The Earls are 5 from 22. The Roosters are 8 from 22. Two highly disappointing teams for the year. And for those who have got free TV, it's disappointing for you that you have to watch a nothing game like this when there's some very exciting games on over the weekend that could have easily been aired on the Friday night alongside of the great Manly Storm clash. But look, history suggests there's never much between these two teams. I think certainly because of the home ground advantage, the Earls will probably get home, but it's a game that really doesn't hold a lot of interest. So look, there it is for Friday night footy. Can't wait to see the Manly Seagulls clash with the Melbourne Storm, and I'll look forward to talking to you over the weekend. Cheers.